What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends? This is Coach E on behalf of Perfect Time Fitness and Meal Prep. We are accepting new clients on both sides. Now, on that personal training side, we are located at Fit Circuit. That is 22141 Rockside Road, Bedford Heights, Ohio, 44146. Now, we do offer one-on-one personal training, group training, one-on-one boxing cardio class. That is noon every Saturday, sports-specific training, and weight loss. On that meal side, we do offer personalized meal prep, catering, charcuterie boards, fresh fruit and vegetable juicing. Now, for us to get in touch with you and for you to get in touch with us, reach out to us on www.perfecttimefitness.com and sign up for those things previously mentioned. We are waiting to hear from you and can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for reaching out in advance. Peace.
Break.
Yo. Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard somebody in the audience talking back to me. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Coach E Game for All Seasons, brought to you by Perfect Time Fitness with your boy Coach E, local neighborhood high school track coach, local neighborhood high school football coach, local neighborhood high school basketball coach, also, most importantly, co-CEO El Presidente at Perfect Time Fitness and MealPrep.com. Head trainer at Perfect Time Fitness. www.perfecttimefitness.com is where you need to go. Hey, man, Miss Sharon laid out this grazing table this weekend. Trust me, we gonna get to it. But now, let's get to the good stuff. I always do this thing with two assistant coaches on my left and my right. On the left-hand side, I got Orlando Magic, Disney, Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, all that down in Orlando, Florida. Zen, what's going on, Mr. South Florida?
What's going on, Coach E? So, last time this guest that we had on, I kind of stole his thunder, Me and his daddy got into it in a little back and forth that went on for like an hour. But this time he gonna shine today. I got the ball ready. I done studied the plays. I'm ready to pass it to you, man. You gonna shine today, man. I'm gonna dime you up just right today, baby. But what's good, Coach E?
Man, everything is good. On the right-hand side, I got BC, Mr. Taboo Timmons. Oh, what? No, we don't. Zen, this boy got married on Saturday and already calling off his damn job, man. What we gonna do with this? Man, people just take their off time to another level. This dude need to hurry up and get his ass back in the seat. We ain't approved this day off, but he took it anyway. But it's all right. We got his better half in the other seat. We got another BC, but it is Byron's son, Brian. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got his better half, his son, BH, Byron.
he can't get it right, man.
Oh my goodness.
BH, Brian Henderson, ladies and gentlemen. What up, B?
There we go, Coach. What's going on, brother? How you feeling today?
Good, man. Got that jumble out of my mouth. Pause. All Diddy.
No Diddy.
Yeah, you supposed to say not all Diddy. You truly supposed to say no Diddy right there.
No. Wrong one.
All Diddy, baby. Well, welcome back to the show, B, man. Just like Zen said, we're going to get you active today, man.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy to be here.
All right, man. Y'all ready to get this thing going? So shout out to my man B. Man, yeah, had a lovely wedding on Saturday. him and his beautiful bride Nicole. So hey, I know they're enjoying their honeymoon right now. So I know Coach E didn't approve the day off, but we happy to that you start things off on the right foot.
Right.
You don't need
Hey.
to home being angry already, man.
I'm telling you what, I'm still writing his ass up. That's a demerit.
He getting a write up for the honeymoon?
Hell yeah. You got to wait till it's approved, man. You just can't put time in and then just go. You got to wait for the approval, dog. That's how corporate America works. This is corporate, damn it.
Oh, man. But fellas, yo, let's start things off this weekend. We're going to start with a little boxing. So this weekend, we got Tank Davis getting in a fight against Frank Martin. Everybody looking forward to it. This is the next in line, in the non-heavyweight class outside of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia was the last big match in the non-heavyweight division. So
Yeah.
Here it is right here. I've never heard of this guy, Frank Martin, but boxing do what boxing does. They hype him up, tell you he's good. He gonna give the guy that we do know a challenge. Will this be the first time, Coach E, that we see Tank Davis challenged in the fight? Is Frank Martin that guy?
Well, this for all my Pootie Tang fans out there. You understand me if you've seen that movie. I'm going to have to say the name, no, my Demi. What a tie.
What a tie.
AKA, hell no. Tank is about to baptize him in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost that he think he is. He ain't ready. He's a good fighter now. I'm not saying that he's sorry or anything, but this is about to be his first fight on this level, dude. I don't care who you are, what you think you are, and how much experience you thought you had at the amateur level, and then all these fights leading up to your moment in the sun. But boy, he about to be a raisin in the sun because he about to get boinked, baptized, and beat up. Tank is going to play with him. He ain't going to knock him out. You already know. The first couple rounds, Tank let you get your stuff off, see what you got. He a counter puncher. So he going to set you up for what he wants you to do. Even though you think you setting the tone for the fight, that's just how Tank fight. He going to let you get your lefts off, get your rights off. He going to get your angles, see where you're coming from, see what your favorite angle is, and he's going to exploit it probably about the third or fourth round. But it just depends on how much he hate this dude because they had that sparring background, and Frank been talking about that every single episode. Every single interview leading up to this fight. So Tank might hold that against him for thinking that he actually did something to him in the sparring round when Tank, he probably was playing around with him anyway. But I seen Frank on a undercard to a Boots fight. Y'all hip to Boots? Anybody?
Jerron Menace.
There we go. I seen him on the undercard at Boots fight one time. Dude was good, but you could tell he was just raw and still kind of learning the game of boxing and learning how to actually fight or actually box, should I say. Because you can street fight all you want to, but if you don't have the technical game of fighting in your repertoire, especially like fights like this, you will be exposed. And he hasn't got exposed yet, but in my opinion, Tank is the number one fighter in the game right now, any class, like pound for pound. So he's about to get taught a nice lesson. So good luck to you, Frank. You might want to turn up, Ghost, and not show up because you ain't going to win, brother.
All right, Coach B. You done heard it from Coach E. Now it's on you. What you got on this fight this weekend?
Obviously, like Coach E said, I think he got a chance. He's in there for a reason. He got a puncher's chance for sure, but Tank is Tank, and we all know what he's going to bring to the table. Like Coach E said, the first 2 rounds, he's going to play with him, see what he's bringing. And I think it's going to end up how me and Coach E's sparring session went. I played around a couple times, had my hands drop and hit me with a check left. And I started seeing stars. I didn't know where I was at. So I think that's going to be happening about the 7th, 8th round. He's going to start beating his body a little bit. And then when you see later rounds, I think he's going to put him out. I don't think he's going to go 12.
You don't see it going 12, young?
I don't see it going 12. As far as like you said, the sparring background, he's brought that up a lot. And Tank has brought up a lot how he can't take body shots. He said, you don't like getting hit in the body. You don't like getting hit in the body. So I think he's going to attack his body a lot, and he might end up sitting down with that body work because he doesn't like it.
Okay. So he don't see it going 12. Do you see it going 12, Coach E?
Like I said, it just depends on what Tank show up. If he's angry Tank and want to prove a point, like mano y mano, not to the crowd, but to Frank, just because he been talking crazy, then it might not go 12. But if you show up the regular Tank and just put on the show and teach him a boxing lesson and just want to beat him for 12 rounds just to show his dominance, then it'll go 12. You will be able to tell by Tank's walk-in entrance. Like if he got a mug on, he taking it personal. He want to get this dude out of there. But if he come out, these boxers come out with all these rappers now. So if he come out with a rapper or whatever song playing and he rapping the song and dancing and stuff, he gonna have fun and just make it to go the whole 12. So it depends on the walkout and what kind of mood Tank is in.
All right. So if Frank Martin isn't gonna challenge him, who out there can challenge Tank Davis to where we actually see a fight?
Go ahead, B.
I mean, I'm thinking. I don't know, especially in that weight class. There's not people like Haney doesn't have it. He's not ready. There's not a name. There's not a name I could throw out there right now that I think personally is going to beat Tank. Like he said, the way this fight's about to go, I think any fight he goes into is kind of the way he wants to have it. If he wants to knock you out, he's going to do it. If he wants to win the fight in 12 rounds, he's going to win it in 12 rounds. So it's all about what he wants. I think he's too dominant right now in his weight class. I don't think anybody's going to be able to handle him.
Okay. All right, fellas.
Shakur been talking a lot of trash, but he definitely not ready. He needs to worry about himself right now, getting himself together before he wants to challenge somebody on that level. He's not ready for that big stage. I'm telling you, boxing is different when it's a full major arena and it's the main event at midnight or whatever time it's going to be in Vegas, and you in Vegas, dude. That's a lot of pressure. Them lights are bright and hot.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a name at you. Lomachenko.
Oh,
He is over.
But
He
he's
is
been
a
giving
master
these
boxer
young
too,
boys
though.
the business, though.
he has, but not Tank. The young boys that thought they was ready for
That's
Lomachenko.
wisdom. That's that
That's true.
wisdom, Coach E.
You right.
He can he'll take all that youthful exuberance that Tank got and might give him a master class. Show him a thing or two. Where it ain't all about that power that he got. He might no.
See, but the thing about Tank, my bad, you go ahead.
No, you can go.
I was gonna say the thing about Tank is that people do fall into that thing that he's a power puncher. He can only punch, he can box. He can also do that boxing game too. He has a boxing game as well. So I think if Loma did try that, I think it'd be a good fight. It definitely would go 12 rounds, but I think Tank can get the edge though. Because he can still box and he has that power with it. And he could take a punch.
Definitely can take a punch.
He can take a punch? Who done gave him a punch? I have not seen a Tank fight where he took one yet.
Oh, he's got caught a few times.
Yeah, Garcia caught him a couple, and the Mexican dude, help me remember his name.
Pitbull Cruz.
Yeah, he caught him a couple times. Now he is a puncher's puncher, and if you can take them punches from that puncher, you have a decent chin.
Okay, all right. Well, we know how the outcome goes. We'll discuss next week how everything looked and he do what we think he gonna do anyways. But let's keep this thing moving along. I know we gotta hit this topic because this topic has been boiling your blood for so long, boy. It's been festering and festering. You can't wait to talk about this one right here, Coach E.
For some weeks.
So Austin Rivers, came out with that comment that caught everybody off guard. He said, I could take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA. And I know, Coach E, you love you some basketball and you love you some football, but I think you're a little more biased now these days in one sport towards the other. Whereas I got Coach B over here who's more biased like Austin Rivers. So this might be an interesting conversation. So so fellas, what do you think of those comments? Do you think Austin has a point?
I want to hear from the basketball man himself.
So I had this debate a lot with all my college friends because I was the only basketball player in my friend group. So I used to tell them all the time this same thing. I feel that I do agree with Austin Rivers. I do think that it is easier for a basketball player to go over and play football, for a football player to come over and play basketball. It just takes more skill in my mind to play basketball than it does to play football. It's a way more skillful game. To me, it is. You have to use a lot more skill to play football than you do for. To play basketball than football.
No, you
Football, you
said
got
it
to
right.
learn. No. Football, you got to learn. You're going to learn your spot. You got to learn your position, and you're going to do that in that position. And basketball, especially now, you got to learn and do everything on the court. You're not doing one thing. You don't have one job. You got to do everything on the floor. So you got to master all the aspects of the game, and not just if you're a lineman, you don't got to just block. You're not just blocking and reading defense. You're not just doing that. You got to do everything in the game. You got to pass. You got to shoot. You got to rebound. You got to play defense. You got to do everything. You can't hide on the basketball floor.
So explain to me when you said skill. It takes more skill to play basketball than football. Break that down a little bit more so I can understand where you're coming from.
As far as the aspects of dribbling a basketball, shooting a
Uh-huh.
basketball, those take more skill to accomplish those things than it does to run a route or
Oh,
to grab a ball and run it. That's a lot easier than it is to go and out there and dribble a basketball and shoot it into this hole.
all right. So, how many basketball players on each team on the court? Is 5 versus 5, right?
Yeah,
So that's 10 people on the court at one time, right?
absolutely.
So you got your point guard, typically kind of a smaller guy, not no more. You know, some point guards are pretty big nowadays. You got your shooting guard, kind of the same size as your point guard. You got your small forward, probably about 6'8", 6'9", power forward 6'10", 6'11", center about 7 foot, right? I'm just making sure I
Yeah,
understand the game.
yeah,
That's
no,
it. I'm
yeah,
just making
yeah.
sure I
I
understand.
know you understand it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so as far as the skill, and people think that's like one of the biggest misconceptions people have about football. Like you said, it's easy to run a route. In order for you to run that route, you have to know what the other 10 guys are doing, because if you run to a spot where another guy is supposed to be, you just really didn't do your job. So in order for you to do a job on a high level at the NFL level, since we're talking about the NBA and the NFL switch, or whether it be the NCAA D1 and NCAA D1 football and basketball switch, that's still a high level. So if I'm a receiver, I have to run to my area. I have to get there fast, and I have to get around a person. So in basketball, you get around a person. Nowadays, the way this game is spread out, you have so much space, and you don't have really too much things impeding you from getting from point A to point B. Point B being the basket for a layup, or point B being the spot where you're shooting your jumper from. As a receiver, you have a whole lot of things in between you and that point B to where you need to be in that timing so you can get the ball. Because if you just go there and it takes you too long, quarterback sack, or you're not open. He already looked you off. So I have to run around, me as being a receiver, I have to run around a DB, aka cornerback, worry about if the safety's coming down, beating down on me, worrying about if the linebacker's coming across to beat down on me. And nowadays you got these defensive ends that are freaks of nature, aka, like I said, these brand new point guards. We got these brand new defensive ends now that's about 6'7", 6'8". Aiden, what's his name? Aiden on the Lions, the defensive end, the white guy.
Hutchinson.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson is 6'8". He is dropping
Mhm.
in coverage. So I have to worry about him. So now I have to do that full speed and still make eye contact with the quarterback to let him know I'm open, catch the ball, and then make 10 people miss that is after me once I catch this ball. And that's just one play. So in a football game, you have so many possessions that you have to do that on. And now we all know it's a passing game. So you have to do that repetitively, like constantly. You have to be open. And that's not even including the quarterback having to read all of that stuff going on in 4 seconds or less while evading people my size or bigger and faster, trying to kill them. You don't have that aspect in basketball. Y'all are so used to space and not getting touched. This is a foul in basketball. That's a foul. a little slap on the hand, what you do to a little toddler that touched the stove and you said, don't touch the stove, it's hot. And he touched the stove and you just hit his little hand away. That's a foul in basketball. In football, that's just every play. That's just a part of the game. You're going to get touched. You're going to get touched hard. So you have to have the heart and the balls to get up and do it again. If not, you might want to go on a basketball court where you barely get touched. That's just a little bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, you specify the receiver, and I will say there are certain aspects of football that are like, especially some of the concepts. Like one of the things I say is pretty hard in football is playing defensive back, playing a safety or a corner position because you have to read everything. You reading the receiver, you reading the quarterback. There are certain parts of football I agree that certain positions are going to be difficult, but as a whole of the game, I do still believe, like you mentioned all the defenses and reading people and helps out. Like in basketball, you don't have as many people, but you have a smaller space that you're playing on. There also are other 10 people on the court and you have help side defense. So when I'm the point guard, I'm coming on the floor, I am still reading the help side. So I'll use the screen or I'm attacking the basket. I'm still reading the help side defense. Then I got to read him helping the tag man. Then I'm reading the entire defense. It's still the same concept on both sides. I'm still reading defenses. I still got other people on the floor. I still have to avoid people. I still got to have skillful moves to get by people, which, okay. So say I'm a 6'2" point guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get a screen and I get switched and I got Rudy Gobert guarding me, who's what, 7'2", however tall he is, 7 foot tall. I have to be skilled enough to get around him and get this shot off over a 7-footer as a 6'2" point guard. That takes a lot of work. So we can do this. Gonna be an all day thing because I can pick with you all day on that. I promise you.
So, what is y'all's consequence
for what?
The consequence of the foul, like what do y'all have to fight through? What do y'all have to have, like a certain set of balls to say, like, how do y'all show off the size of your balls, or how do you show the courage of your heart, and how do you show that, like, what is the consequence of you going to the hole, like beating the first man, and after you beat that first man, what's the consequence after that? Is it a
You have
bucket
help
or
side.
is it a foul?
Either or. You can have one or the other. Or you got to help side defense. You got to get the ball up.
So this is the biggest part that I don't know who's going to disagree with this. If you disagree with it, you're a basketball player. But if you agree with it, you're a football and basketball player. Because I would so much love to beat somebody off the dribble and just worry about another guy coming to try to block my shot. Their goal in basketball is to block a shot, not foul. Your coaches always say don't foul unless it's a certain amount of time in the game and you got to play 2 for 1 and you got to play the clock game at the end to try and catch up. But the purpose of basketball is not to foul. The purpose in football, when I am that receiver that I broke everything down with, now the defense job is to kill me, like really, really hard, like hit me extremely hard, full speed. 10 other people coming at me. So their job is to literally impact pain on me. So much pain that they hope I don't get up. So that's the thing that I know a lot of basketball players cannot do. They don't have the heart or the toughness to take those hits for 4 quarters constantly and get back up and do it again. You could probably take about 2 or 3, but in that whole 4 quarters, that shit is going to add up and you guys are going to quit because you don't have to worry about that level of physicality. And that is the biggest part of football, that physicality and that mental toughness in order for you to absorb that and be like, whew, okay, I'm cool. Got to get up, do it again. They ain't about to do me like this no more. Then guess what? They're going to do you like that again. Then you got to get up again and do it over and over. Basketball players don't have that internally to make a whole game and take that beating like that.
And I do agree with that. I definitely agree that statement is a fact. Now, on the flip side of that, a football player, as far as the fatiguing of that game of basketball, the constant moving, that constant running, that constant cutting, play defense, getting on the floor for loose balls, that 4 quarters of that, football players are not making it through that. They're not in the same kind of shape as basketball players. It's two different levels of being in shape, 2 different levels of conditioning that they have to go through. So yes, that physical toughness part would be different for us basketball players coming over to the football game. But as far as you playing a basketball game for 4 quarters and having to play for those 4 quarters, and we're talking about NBA, so that's 12-minute quarters. You got a 48-minute game where you're constantly running up. You're not stopping. You're running up and down the floor. You're playing defense the whole time. You got a box out rebound. You are getting bumped and hit, so it's going to fatigue you. That's a whole lot of fatiguing of your body throughout that 4 quarters. So I do believe that football players could not take that part either.
So I think football players are in better shape than basketball players just because of the aspect that, let's just take me, for instance. I was a defensive lineman. I have to move this 6'7", 335-pound person in front of me every single play. That includes my wind endurance and that includes my muscle endurance. You put those together, let's just say it's about 80 to 85 snaps a game. I have to do that 80 to 85 times. That takes way more out of you, but just because of the physicality. The running and stuff, yeah, that's the win. But y'all still get breaks. Like if a ball gets dribbled off of your foot out of bounds, you get a little break. It may be 5 seconds, it may be 4 seconds, but it's still a break. Free throws, once again, bring up those fouls. You're going to have a break. Timeouts, you're going to have a break. Defense, if you're in a zone, you're just standing there. If the ball moves, of course you have to move and rotate the zone, but you're not running around following people man to man. So you still get those breaks. Football, you really don't get those breaks like that. You get the reset
You
of
get a break after every
the
play. After every play, you
yeah,
get a break. You get in the huddle and get a break.
because you have to go right back and exert even more energy because you are getting tired in the game of football. But in basketball, it's just the win factor. Yeah, y'all bump each other. You're taught to bump the cutter. Yeah, you're taught to box out. But that is very minimal contact that you have to fight through. Football, you have to fight through contact every single play, which is more taxing on the body, let alone your win. It's double fold. It's twofold. You got to be in better shape to play football than you do basketball.
That you just gave example of a lineman exerting muscular endurance, and they got also, it's also winning with them blocking. That's the lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what about your quarterback?
Quarter, as in who's throwing the ball? Quarterback
Yes, the one that's catching the ball, stepping back and throwing it or handing it off.
or Lamar Jackson running around scrambling, or
There's very
Patrick
few of those doing.
Mahomes.
How many people's doing that?
It's a lot of quarterbacks now that are running and elusive with the ball now in the NFL. Back in the day, no, it was a lot of pocket passers. I have the same argument with your dad. He always tells me that his pocket passers are still left in the NFL, which it probably is about 4. But the majority of quarterbacks, they are running around for their life because of those freaks of nature that are coming after. You got Myles Garrett. You're not safe in the pocket. You got Aiden Hutchinson, like you said, you're not safe in the pocket. Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, you're not safe in the pocket. So you have to be in shape to run and save your own life and then possibly throw the ball and you're still getting hit. So you have to get right back up and do it again after you just got the wind literally knocked out of you. So you still got to be in great shape.
How many plays is it, or quarterbacks dropping back a few plays out of the game? The handoff plays, they hand the ball off and they stand and look like this. Sometimes they're running block and block, but they don't do it. They'll do that. Cool, okay. You got plays of your receivers. I got you. Your receivers have plays where they won't run a route. They won't block. They'll just come off the line and stand up. Multiple run
Not,
plays, they do that.
not in high
Where?
level football. You'll die.
Well, I guess so. I mean, I watch a lot of NFL games, and I definitely see NFL players that will go up, maybe they touch somebody and kind of push them a little bit. They're not blocking. They're just coming off the line and not doing anything. That happens very, very often in the NFL. Very, very often. So there's numerous positions on the football field where you definitely get breaks. You definitely gonna get them breaks. You definitely gonna get that. Like I said, the huddle every time. You definitely got when the flag is thrown and the refs got to talk for 30 minutes to figure out who the foul is on or
30
whatever, what
minutes? Good
happened.
Lord, that's
Uh,
a long time.
now we know the refs are meet. Okay, I was exaggerating, obviously, but we know the refs are meet for a good 5 minutes of the game where they'll stand there and communicate and talk about who did what and where this happened. That happens in football a lot, and you got it in basketball now with they challenge calls. Now they can review it, but it's more often in football. You still get a lot more breaks in football through the huddles, through the timeouts, through the media breaks that they're gonna have. All that stuff is still more breaks in football than you have in basketball.
Still got
I have experimented this with college. Well, they weren't Division I, but they're Division II football players, elite players.
yeah,
I've
still.
experimented this with them. We played basketball. It wasn't the same, and I've gone and done football things with them, and they tell every time they've admitted to me they couldn't do it. They're not in the same amount of shape, and
And
that's them. That's
we
what I've experienced with those people.
we got to throw this in there because you hinted to it. Name me a one time in your whole life, not your grown life, your whole life, when have you played pickup tackle football? Like for real. You can't just get
Never.
together with a group of friends and be like, hey, y'all, let's play football. You can
Does
go
that mean
somewhere
it
and be
takes
like,
more skill?
no, 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 no. I'm saying
Oh,
that's
okay.
how much
Okay.
more, that's just how much more dangerous it is and how much more physical it is. That just goes back to my point where you got to be physically in shape, win, like long wise, win, and
Mhm.
physically in shape. And it's just not safe to do that. So it's extremely safe to play football. I mean, basketball. What you gonna do? You might get a rolled ankle. You might get a jammed finger. Football, you might break a leg. You might break an arm. You might even break a neck. You might even crack your skull. Just saying. That's just
So
the
because it's a
level
tougher
of,
game, so because
yeah.
it's a tougher game and it takes a more of a physical toll on you, that's the point of what makes it a tougher game, what makes it harder to play because it's that toughness aspect. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that goes back to what I
Okay.
was saying. No basketball
Okay.
player has that toughness.
I can't argue with that one. I can give you that because, like you said, it's two different. It's a different game. Like, in basketball, you get touched, you're gonna say you got fouled. You're not gonna want to continuously get hit. You're not gonna want that. But I still stand on my point about the conditioning. I don't believe, especially for someone like you play basketball. I don't believe that you can take a lineman and go play in a basketball game because you mentioned the lineman about the blocking. They couldn't go play in a basketball game.
I know a lot of them that can.
So the majority, you could take a majority of them and put them in the NBA. They could play in the game.
I say
There's a
about
handful for sure. There's a
I
handful. Like
say
you said, you
about
got 6'8".
defensive lineman wise, I know a whole lot, probably
I'll give you more of them.
70% of that. Offensive line wise, maybe 40, 45. Because believe it or not, a lot of them have
Couple of them are
basketball
athletic.
backgrounds. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of them
yeah.
have basketball backgrounds. Those offensive tackles, hell, DeJuan Jones. Every time he plays a football game, they always show his basketball highlights. And that's just one dude. Trent Williams, offensive tackle for the 49ers.
He's good.
Everybody has always said, like, man, this dude is a true point guard, but he plays
He can hoop for
offensive
sure.
tackle. Yeah, so it's still about 40% of offensive linemen that can go ahead and make that switch. It might not be looking as graceful, so to say, as a LeBron, but you don't have to as long as you're putting the ball in the hole or playing defense or doing your job. So pick your poison.
I gotta, I gotta see it. I gotta see the 48-minute game, man. I gotta see it. I just gotta see it for myself, and then I agree with you. But I can't believe you until
But
I see it.
but no basketball player plays 48 minutes straight. They all get a break. They all get subs. So do football players. I'm not saying that they don't, but
Well,
no
it depends on the
basketball
game
player
because
plays
it has
48
happened. That's
minutes.
like it's never. That's like that. It never happens. It happens.
It
People do play
does,
the
but
entirety of the game. So you saying like it
that's
never
not
happens? It
the
happens.
that's not the majority. I'll give you about
Okay.
10%.
That's cool. I'll give you 30 minutes. Say 30. They got to play 30 minutes in that game.
Oh, that's easy.
That easy.
No problem. Easy.
Easy is absurd. Easy is
Easy.
absurd. That's
Easy is
crazy.
easy.
Easy is crazy.
Easy work.
That's like the conversation we had the other day with Buddy about doing 4 rounds of boxing. I don't think so,
Absolutely.
brother. I don't think so.
We was talking about the common man. The common man is not giving me 4 rounds, 3 minutes. So not at all. No chance in hell. But football player, translating the hooping, 30 minutes. Oh, yeah, we got that for you, coach. Put me
In
in.
an NBA
And I'll
basketball
get you.
game,
Absolutely.
guarding these NBA players, that's
Yeah.
tough. That's tough. That's tough. Guarding John Morant, like what? Steph Curry is running around the entirety of the game off a million screens.
And I would love to see who's the best defender in the league, guard wise. Who would you
Guard
say?
wise,
Yeah, who would you say?
right now I'm gonna say Drew Holiday.
So I would love to see Drew Holiday check Tyreek Hill all game. Good luck. Get well soon.
How many of your corners really be checking Tyreek Hill? Pick somebody
A lot
else.
of them.
No,
Okay.
he kills people.
Justin
He murders
Justin
people.
Jefferson. Justin
Also a
Jefferson.
murderer. I would like to see them go and guard LeBron then, or go guard Steph. It's the same thing.
Oh,
You
easy
can't
work.
you can't do that. No, hell no.
We gonna get physical, baby. They gonna feel us. Gonna get physical.
Okay,
Then he gonna
and you
back
gonna
down
be on.
because
Gonna
of
be
that
on
heart.
sitting on the bench,
No,
Coach E.
yeah, I don't know what Coach E
You
crazy.
just said your opening point was, man.
We got 6 of them.
All that is a foul. You talk about getting physical,
Yeah, because
especially
if
if
we
it's a
get
regular
physical,
season game. All it take
oh
is a
yeah,
little tap, and it's
And we got Scott Foster reffing
oh, I'm
and
getting a
Tony
tech
Brothers.
too. I'm getting a tech.
all right, fellas. Let's keep it moving with that. From keeping in the world of basketball, let's go to this NBA Finals. Right now looks like our new champions will be the Boston Celtics right now, unless the Dallas Mavericks do something about it. So I want to get y'all thoughts on a couple of different things in this series. So let's start here. So first, what does the Dallas Mavericks have to do if they want to make this a competitive series?
Shit, score.
Okay,
They
all right.
haven't they
That's
haven't been
that's a
able
good
to
Somebody.
start.
score. Yeah, they haven't been able to score like they usually have been, especially
And
all
why is that?
playoffs long. Just missing shots, I believe, and the length and the depth of the
hmm
Boston
hmm
team. That has a
hmm
huge thing to do with it. They've never seen a team that long and that active and on the string defensively with the help side that B was just talking about. They do that real good. So they never have like a Jalen Brown, a Jason Tatum, and a Porzingis. That's a big ass lineup out there, and that's not even including Horford or whoever else is out there. Shit, Drew Holiday a good 6'4", 6'5", so they're not little, and they play basketball, defensive basketball, good together as a team. So they got to score.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with Coach E on that one. I think it's just a supporting cast, man. Like I don't know one of the NBA players said Luka needs to get his team more involved, but I mean, even when he's giving them the ball, they're not doing anything. His second man, Kyrie, is doing nothing to me. I mean, he's missing wide open shots, can't make a layup, and he's taking bad shots. It just gets tough. And when you turn the ball over, like last game, they starters had 9 steals by themselves. That's crazy. 9 steals in the starting lineup. You can't win a basketball game turning the ball over like that, especially just to the starting five. So I think it's just going to be a lot. They got to work on scoring, and then I think got to be some adjustments made on the defensive side. You can't keep getting these switches on Porzingis where he's getting a one-on-one at the elbow with Kyrie. Like that's just insane. Jason Kidd got to do something else with his defense and lineups and make an adjustment to that because their defense right now is terrible. They can't guard Boston to save their life. Drew Holiday just had 29 or 27.
Yeah.
Okay. So you told me about the defense. If I got two coaches here. So you the coach. You see the talent. You know what you're working with. If you're Jason Kidd, what do you come out in these games in Dallas and do offensively to try to mix things up and to get the Celtics back on their heels?
I would try more of a small ball approach. I know that probably won't help you too much on defense, but like you said, they don't play defense anyway. So you might as well try and outscore them because that has to be your attack because you're just outnumbered right now. So I would put a couple more people on the bench, like the bigs that they have, the Giffords and the
Mm-hmm.
Livelies.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to take one of them out and put another scorer in, like a versatile scorer. It could be the damn, what's the guy number 42? He just came back. He had that shoulder injury.
Max Kleber.
Kleber.
Kleber. It might be him because he can stretch the floor and give you a couple threes off of the penetration of let's say a Kyrie or a Luca or like I said earlier, I had a feeling about Tim Hardaway Jr., but he's not even using him. I understand he was not playing, but dude, this is the finals. You are down 0-2. So you have to try something different that you haven't done before, just to throw a monkey wrench in the game. You can't continue to do the same thing. So you got to find the people that's going to create their own shot or create a shot for others and make sure you have those right bucket getters and or shooters on the court at the same time just to run the score up because you have to outscore Boston. You just have to.
I do agree. I think we do need to. I did like one lineup he did put in when Porzingis was in the game. He went everybody else small and just had Lively in the game to stay with Porzingis. And granted, we know he can't do anything with Porzingis, but it was a good, bigger size body to stay there with him. So they weren't switching. He was helping to get him back and it slowed Porzingis down a little bit in that second half of the game where he had 18 in the first half. He only scored 2 in the second half. He slowed down a little bit off of that. So I do agree, and I think, like you said, Coach E. I mean, Tim Hardaway hasn't played yet in the whole. I don't think in the playoffs yet. That doesn't make sense to me because he's a shooter who can knock down shots. Who they need to be in a game when Luka's driving to the paint and the whole defense is collapsing for those kickouts right now because PJ Washington donuts. He's not doing anything. You got Derrick Jones Jr. who
Derrick
can't shoot to
Jones.
save his life. I mean,
Hmm.
Gafford can't shoot it at all. Like, so I mean, I like the Cleveland point too. Only thing is with him, he's not even making shots and he's passing up open shots. I was screaming at the TV last game, like, bro, shoot the ball. You're on the floor to
Hmm.
shoot. You catch the ball to three wide open. You think about it and you pass it. That's not gonna cut it. You got to make sure you're putting the ball up. And then you got people like Morris on the bench who can bring a toughness factor to the game for you because you need some of that in the game right now because they're out rebounding you. Drew Holiday is murdering your bigs, posting them up. You need some toughness in this game too, because right now, Boston's really just dominating them. I mean, they couldn't make a three last game and still beat them. Had to lead the whole game, and I wasn't really worried about the game the whole time.
So you brought up a good point with that Morris brother. He can be a X factor guarding
Mm-hmm.
Porzingis with the physicality that I was just talking about. Like if a football player was to play, the physicality, he would definitely get annoyed, frustrated because he
Mm-hmm.
just has free reign to move around because they're not getting up into his body or nothing like that. They're just trying to stay in front of him. But hey, Earth to you guys, he's 7'3". I don't care if you stay in front of him, he's just gonna shoot over you. So why
Over you.
not close the distance? Get him frustrated, get more physical contact with him so he's not comfortable with just dribble, dribble, pull up. Just saying. You might want to try that out. And you all you have to do if you're Jason Kidd is to find something that works for one game. And those others, they're gonna play a little bit better just because they're gonna be at home. You
At
don't
home.
have to have a world beater for 10 straight games. You just have to find the right combination of guys to win 4 games. So you have to exhaust every possibility if you're serious about winning the damn championship. You can't just accept it. And I'm pretty sure Jason Kidd knows something. He's gonna try something. The coaching staff probably got together to see what they can do. I hope they don't come out with that same mindset because if they do, 3-0 in no time.
I think I might reverse it a little bit too. So I think right now they're trying to get the ball out of Tatum's hands and out of Brown's hands and make the other guys beat him, and they're beating you right now. So I would
Yeah.
kind of change it up because Tatum's not looking to kill right now.
No,
Make
he's
him go
not.
score 40 and make him take all the shots. And that's how you have to force those two to really take all the shots and try to match Kyrie and Luca and play the same game they're playing, or they'll never beat Boston because Boston has the pieces. You got Porzingis off the bench right now. That's insane. All Al Horford every game he's giving you last week he got 7 rebounds last game. You got people that's Tatum's getting 9. Drew Holiday had 11 rebounds. Like you got to do something else to get the main guys to do more so these role players aren't beating you. Because if the role players beat you, you have no chance of winning every time.
And just
All
one
right.
more point off of that, Zan, my bad. You know how you stop those guys from rebounding, getting all those rebounds? Put the damn ball in the basket. There will be no rebound. Freaking
No
score.
board. They got to pass the ball in.
All right. So if that doesn't work, we still anticipate Boston winning this series the way things are going right now. I want to ask you, fellas, what are you thinking of the coaching job of Joe Mazzulla? And the reason I ask this is, sometimes a coach can win a championship and it gives you a facelift, and people look at you differently. I.e., Nick Nurse, they look at him differently. Look at Rick Carlisle. He beat Miami back in 2011. Quiet as it's kept. This year was the first year since that 2011 finals that he won a playoff series since then. Why? Because that championship just gives you a facelift and people look at you differently. Now, it don't always work out that way. You look at Coach Bud in Milwaukee, it only
Fire.
lasted it was temporary. Then the face started sagging again. So
Literally.
what are you thinking of this coaching job of Joe Mazzulla if the Celtics go ahead and, like we expect to do, win this championship? How do you perceive people will look at him as a head coach moving forward?
I personally believe that he may get discredited a little bit because of the pieces that they do have. They have a lot of very valuable, very good pieces on their team. So I think that people are going to try to be like, oh, he had this, he had that, and try to discredit the things that he's done as a coach. But even throughout, I mean, for me, I think he's done a great job. I think he's doing excellent. His schemes are really good. Their offense is good. Their spacing is always really good. Defensively, they've been doing really well on the ball. They're playing the complete game, and he has a lot to do with it because he is the head coach. So I mean, and I don't know how it will look for him if he'll get a facelift from this or if not, but I think he's doing great on my end.
Well, let me be one of those first people to go ahead and discredit a little bit. I told you at the beginning of this series, the X factor was Porzingis, and
Porzingis.
it is still Porzingis. He's proven to be
Mhm.
the X factor in this series. So all you did was insert him. Other than that, everything's been the same. The Cleveland series, they was looking a little out of sync, out of sorts. The Indiana series, they was looking a little out of sync, out of sorts because they was missing that big piece that they was used to being there all year, and they was used to having the mismatches on offense and defense all year. When he wasn't there, they didn't have those mismatches. So that's why they looked like that. That's what we was talking about, Zen. The Jaylen Brown and the Jason Tatum's going, oh, okay, it's your turn. Oh, okay, it's my turn. They was trying to find something that worked. But now they
Mhm.
know what works because Porzingis is back, and they know it worked all year. So I guess you can give them credit for the scheme because of the space. But like I said, they play so much ISO ball. Is it really them running a scheme, or are they just running five out and just being better than them? So I guess you can give them a credit. BBL Drizzy. Talk about a facelift.
BBL Drizzy. No, I agree with you though. E. I agree with you on that point about that one though. It is a lot of one-on-one ball. They do have certain moments where they run certain sets that I've actually tried to
Yeah.
steal myself that I'm going to be running next year. But
Hmm.
they had a couple of schemes and sets that were very nice that they do run. Obviously situational, but you're right. A lot of it is one-on-one ball. Tatum going one-on-one. Jaylen Brown with no left hand going to the right.
Hmm.
That's the most what you see. So I can't agree with you on that one.
But a
Uh,
couple things that he does do good is out of timeout plays. He does do those every once in a
ATOs.
while. Good, yeah, he does do that really good sometimes. Not all the time, but it's a couple times where it was like, oh man, that was actually a good play, and it worked to perfection. So I'll give him that credit right there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if one of them taking, he's gonna be looking more like Eric Spoelstra after winning a couple with LeBron and Chris Bosh and D Wade. That's what it sounds like. You giving it more to the players on the court. He gonna have to do something else like Spoelstra had to do minus them to show that he's a
Hmm.
good coach in y'all guys' eyes. I got you. I got you. All
See,
right, so I want to ask you about Jason Tatum right now. If the series was to end the way things are going, Drew Holiday would be the Finals MVP. And Jason Tatum, Coach B already alluded to it that he hasn't been a killer. He has. We've been waiting for that. We've been trying to prop him up, put him in position to be potentially one of those faces of the NBA. Here it is in the finals. It looks like they're gonna win it. Will people at the end of this see him as joining a Anthony Edwards as being the American face of the NBA?
I don't believe so. I do not. Like you just said to me, he's not doing anything. And on the flip side of that, just in case I'll say this, I think if they lose this series, they may keep Jalen Brown and get rid of him because Jalen Brown has outplayed him this year. If you ask
mm,
me,
But he's
I'm
the
just
first
saying.
team All NBA though.
But that's the crazy part. That's just something that's insane because if you look at Jalen Brown's numbers, look at what Jalen Brown has done this year. He has done amazing things, and that's a political thing because there's certain people that are on that first NBA team that could have been replaced. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I
All right. All right.
I think in a kind of way, I think he's trying to become more of an all around player instead of just a one way offensive player. But I think he's kind of going at it the wrong way. Let's just take, for instance, game one, he was 6 of 16 for 16 points.
Terrible.
Yes, you had
Terrible.
11 rebounds, and yes, you had 5 assists. But were they really like those game changing assists or game changing rebounds or just game changing 16 points? I don't think so. Game two, you was 6 of 22 for 18 points. Yes, you had 9 rebounds. Yes, you had 12 assists. But those numbers have to be a little bit better and more consistent in order for you to go at being that all around player that you I think he's trying to be. He he claims to be like this Kobe disciple, but I don't
Oh
see
man,
that at all. I think he just like is claiming Kobe to be his favorite player. As far as that disciple part and being like an offspring of Kobe, I don't see that whatsoever because he just doesn't have that grr,
killer.
anger, or let's go, yeah, like let me kill y'all right quick and worry about everything else later. He's too much of a nice, laid back kind of guy. So I think he's trying to grow as a player. It might be too late for that in his career or too early because
Mm,
nothing
mm.
like none of his skills are really deteriorate. So he still needs to go ahead and use those skills like he's been doing the past couple years. Right now, for you to kind of take that back seat, hell, you might be taking money out of your own pocket and you might be doing something that's putting Jalen Brown as the number one and you being the 1B. You might not want to do that. So you got to figure out, make up your mind. I don't think they'll get rid of him yet, B, but it's just not what everybody was anticipating or what everybody wanted as a Boston fan or NBA fan. If you're just looking for that, what you say is in the marquee name in the NBA league wide. I don't know if he's ready for
Yeah, well, he need
Because
to
the
stop
reason,
warming up in Kobe shirts because I'm getting sick of it. If he wore one more Kobe shirt, I'll get up. And one more thing, if they win this championship, he take that picture with the trophy like Kobe did. He's getting kicked out of the league. He's out of there. I'm going to Boston myself. He's done.
the reason I asked this is because right now it seems like y'all giving a lot of credit to the front office and Brad Stevens and what he's
Mhm,
doing. At some point, Jalen Brown's got his money. We're
hmm
anticipating when it's time for the extension to come, he's gonna sign his extension, and it's gonna be even more money than what Jalen Brown's making. Now you're gonna put those two players on that contract. Granted, the TV money is going. We expecting an announcement of how big these TV deals are gonna be real soon, but it's only gonna go so much. I
hmm
don't believe the salary cap is gonna explode to where you're gonna be able to still have this deep of a roster and have two big contracts like that on your roster. So you're gonna have to give up some things. So the talent level won't be. You're gonna have to compensate for some of that talent that you didn't have before. So if you're the Boston Celtics moving forward, once that goes into play, can you can you see because they hoping this is to be a dynasty. You got a young coach, a young
mhm.
uh out of the thinking out of the box coach and who came in. Ime Udoka did his thing, but he's done his thing like a 180 of what Ime has been having success doing it so far. Here it is. You're gonna have these two on your on the books. You probably won't be able to afford a Drew Holiday
Mm.
or Kristaps Porzingis any longer. You're gonna have to lose somebody, a key player, a key piece. Will they be able to continue this moving forward if they got these two big contracts on the books?
Well, that was my point of what I was saying about getting rid of Jason Tatum was because of that point right there. You're not going to be able to keep all these pieces because somebody going to want to get paid out of those pieces. You got a Derek White who's played great this year. You got Drew Holiday who's, like you said, at this point is possibly the Finals MVP or Brad Stevens. Um, you got other players that
hmm
just want to get paid, so you're not going to be able to keep both those guys and pay both of them those big checks at the same time. So I think eventually you got to lose something or somebody or a couple pieces to keep one.
All
Well,
right.
now you got that Drew Holiday extension that's supposed to kick in next year, that 4 year, 135 next year. And then what you
True.
said, Zen, signing Tatum to probably a three something, just like Jalen Brown got a three something. So that is a big, big, big chunk. That ain't nowhere near like I mean, what Byron always be talking about that 230 Deshaun Watson. That ain't nowhere near what the Boston Celtics got to go through all that book. They got to save money somewhere, and I think it's going to be the others far deep in the bench, the Pritchards and the Bushlers or whatever the cat name is. Those guys might be
Hauser.
the yeah Hauser. Oh
Sam
yeah,
Hauser.
Judd Bushler is the Jordan dude. Those might be the odd guys out. You know what I mean? But they better
Well,
figure it
how
out.
much
That's
are
so
they
they
going
can
to
pay
free
the
up?
big
How much are they
bucks.
going to free up for you though?
Not a lot. Not a lot at all.
That's the thing. And these guys are wanting to get paid a lot. that's where you got to fall into that trap a little bit.
Or you can take the same route that Miami did with like back in the day when everybody was trying to come there for that vet minimum stuff. They
Yeah.
can if you expecting to come to Boston and try and win, you just got to know you got to take a pay cut because we top heavy as shit over here.
All right. So one last thing. Boston Celtics. We've seen how they played in the playoffs. The regular season, some of the best statistics coming from a team, 60 plus wins, most in the NBA this season, biggest win differential this season. When it comes to offense, statistically, they've been listed as one of the greatest offensive teams this season. But after seeing what you've seen in this postseason, when it's all said and done, in your eyes, will they be remembered as one of the greatest teams? Because I've listened to a couple of pundits, and a couple of pundits believe that this Boston Celtics team is better than the KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce team.
Whoa.
That's
I've
insanity.
heard it, so I'm wondering in your
Rondo.
eyes.
Rajon Rondo was their point guard with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG, Kendrick Perk. I'm done. What's your question again?
Okay, so they're not gonna be. So how will you remember these Boston Celtics come next year or down the line when you go back and look back on it? What will you take away from the season from them?
This might sound crazy to y'all, and it
go
might
ahead.
sound crazy to you viewers and listeners. Underachievers.
Yes.
Because this was not, you said a whole bunch of them numbers and stats, but it was not pretty like those numbers and stats would make you believe that it was. Underachievers, they could have been so much better. They should have been so much better and way more dominant. I'll just say dominant. They're a good team, they're just not dominant.
I can agree with that, Coach E, especially based on the fact of how many times postseason, regular season, did we watch the Boston Celtics walk in games? It looked like they didn't want to be there. It looked like they just weren't in the game at all. Or go up 20, 25 and lose the lead and lose the game. Like, I think they did have also what we gave the most. I think they have the most blown 20-point leads this year, too. I think if you want to check into that one, I think they do. Because I watched it numerous times where they were, how you supposed to be? You had the number one record in the NBA. You go in and you play in Charlotte. And you lose to Charlotte. Now, how did you just lose to the Hornets with no LaMelo Ball?
Okay.
Underachievers.
All right.
Not dominant.
My last question. So, what this series reminds me of is LeBron's many trips to the finals in a Cavaliers uniform. That's what it reminds me when I watch the Dallas Mavericks play. Luka, hands down, has been fantastic. What is it going to take for him in that squad and with his style of play to be able to get over the hump? Does he have it like LeBron to where he'll be able to, with that style of play? LeBron was able to figure it out, but Bron was also a two-way player. Luka, on the other hand, I don't foresee him getting that much better on the defensive side of the ball. So with his style of play, we've seen it before. We've seen a James Harden try to struggle, who struggled to get that championship ring with this style of play. Like, we've seen others try it. Will he be able to get over that hump and get that championship with his style of play?
No, not with that style of play. He need help from the others. He need the others. And these others right here ain't helping him like they need to be. They was doing good that Minnesota series. They was out of their mind. Blew they wide. Had nothing left in the tank right now. So in order for Luka to win, he's going to need to play the same, but just still have help from the others.
Okay.
Kyrie Irving.
Okay. I'm glad you said that, Coach B. So, Coach B, Kyrie Irving, is that the Robin, the type of Robin that he needs in order to reach to get that championship? or do Boston need to reconsider and think of a different sidekick to place alongside Luka?
So which Kyrie you talking about? You talking about Ramadan Kyrie or this Kyrie?
Oh,
Just two different
This
Kyries.
the one we got right now.
Okay, well, this Kyrie that I'm seeing right now, that's doing what he's doing, not gonna do the job. You can't score 16 points and think you're the Robin. Robin don't score 16. That's what Daniil Gafford or PJ Washington does. You should be up there with me, like he was when he was here. That game where they both LeBron and him both had 41 and a couple of those series games. Now, what I will say, speaking of that series, he did have a terrible first two games of that Warrior series when they did come back from that 3-1 deficit. Just so y'all know, he scored 10 points, I think, in the first two games of that series.
Remember.
So I will say I do believe that we will see the real Kyrie Irving come back tomorrow night.
Okay, and on that note, fellas, I think we call that a good pod. So I hear that sound, fellas. I hear that sound. So you know what that means. Good pod, good pod. Coach B, you feel better this time, man? You got a lot of shine tonight, baby. You got a lot of shine.
I feel great today, brother. I feel great today. I got to go at it with Coach E. I love it, man. We talked some good topics today. I love it, man. It was a great experience.
Good stuff, man. Appreciate you filling in for your pops. So, hey, we'll have you back again at some point in time again, man. Pop's going to wind up taking another day off at some point, man. So be on the lookout, man. We appreciate you, brother.
Hey, just know, if y'all need to fire him, y'all, my application will be in tomorrow. Just so y'all know. Hey, you said I'm his better half. Yeah, I'm just saying. I won't call off. I promise you. You know what? I'll work overtime if you need it.
Sure enough, we're going to keep that in mind.
Right.
All right. Hey, Coach E.
Yes, Mickey Mouse.
You got a post-game word for the people.
Yes, I do.
All right, let's go.
Win on me, win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win! It sounds so sweet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, gather around, taking E, all eyes on me. Today's word is, I like what I see. It's about to be the summertime. Well, hell, some people call this the summertime already. Everybody's out of school. Everybody is enjoying themselves. The weather is turning for the better. And you know what? I like what I see. Everybody's out there focused, man. You got to change your circle in life. You see in the circle that you had before, nobody was doing nothing. Nobody was getting nothing done. Nobody was inspiring you. So you did what? You changed your circle. And guess what? Now I like what I see. I see you over there to the right doing what you're doing, starting your business, and your business is flourishing now. I see you over there to the left doing the same thing, inspiring me to get on my stuff and go even harder to either try to match you or just keep up with you, just so we can keep the circle intact and keep the circle inspiring others outside of the circle to show them an example that what they need to live by. So I like what I see out there. Y'all keep focused and keep doing what you're doing. You're making me happy. Every time I see you, you're shining. You're having a happy, big smile on your face. Your wife happy. Your husband happy. Your kids is happy. And that's what life is all about. So I see y'all out there. Keep it up. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, frogs, turtles, bears, wombats. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coach E Game for All Season. Download, watch on Coach E's YouTube channel. We are putting out good content. And yes, B did lose this argument. Football players are the best athletes in the world. Okay? That's just it. We got to stop right there. Watch, download, share, subscribe. Don't forget, June 22nd at noon at the at the Edge, 9550 Ravenna Road, Twinsburg, Ohio. Speed Camp, number 2, free, Free. See you there. Come get some work. With that being said,
Thank you for tuning in to Game for All Seasons with Coach E. Remember to hit the like or subscribe button on Coach E's YouTube channel. To listen on the go, download wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure to follow Coach E on Instagram, X, and TikTok at BigF216. Contact us at www.perfecttimefitness.com for one-on-one or group training sessions. Our theme music provided by Mr. Taboo Timmons, on SoundCloud at Mr. Taboo Timmons. Once again, thanks for listening and see you next week.